Thank you. Frame 24. Ronnie O'Sullivan, the break. That's enough now, please.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off in the 24th frame, and it's the first time he's been in front. Who would have said that at the start of the match? 5.5 hours been out there so far.
And that was Ronnie's highest break of the match to get that one frame advantage. And there's the average frame time, just over 14.5 minutes. There's been mistakes, there's been misses, unexpected misses. It's all added to the drama. A little bit of a stalemate, this. This is the fact the red's up in the balk end. There's no safety up that end of the table. So this could go on for a while yet. And Ronnie has not found the top cushion, so maybe there's a red here that may tempt Joe. I thought one to the red corner, maybe playing the double here, if he can play it and not leave anything but the red he's playing. Double it is. Oh, so close. Sharp intake of breath. I think he thought that was there. And I did, for a split second. Wouldn't have been much closer, could it?
Close enough the cushion here to stop Joe Perry playing return safety to that. So you just have to roll up now to the reds.
He's overhit that. I think he's left this red to the right middle. Careless. And at the point where he can't afford to make any mistakes. Now, if Ronnie has got the potting angle to pot this red and get on the black, this is a gift of an opportunity. It looked a formality just to roll into them, but this red does go. And in it goes. One careless safety from Joe Perry, just a straightforward roll-up. What a mistake.
Joe Perry's there. He's had quite a long time in his seat now. Hasn't potted the ball for 22 minutes. That's okay.
Yeah, but for the kiss, he may not have finished on anything really good, but straightforward blue. So this is a good chance for Ronnie now. And as I say, it was an opportunity
14.
that was gifted to him. Just shows you just roll into the reds and you don't even think about leaving anything. And he just hit it a fraction too hard, pushed the other red away and left this one on to the right middle. Could that be his last shot in in this year's Dafabet World Snooker Championship.
50.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility the way Ronnie has played the last 3 frames.
He's never been short a bottle, has he, in the tight finishes? Of course, he wins a lot of his matches with ease when he's at his best. But he's also someone that starts to find his best form sometimes when he's been at his worst, and picks the right times towards the end of matches. Of course, the nearer you get that the winning line, the more tense everything becomes. But Sullivan just looks exactly the same. Other players tend
22.
to possibly find it a little bit more tense, and I dare say he does as well. But he certainly doesn't show it. As his pot success has been pretty good, both players.
29.
Look at it now for Joe Perry sitting there, hoping. That's all he can do now is hope. And that's success. Well, that's changed completely. 97% to Sullivan this session. 85 Perry.
Yeah, it was a good shot. You could tell it was a good shot the time he took to decide to play it. And he's really found another gear, and every credit to him.
37.
I think a few people
38.
were beginning to doubt him when he couldn't close the gap on Joe Perry. He struggled a little bit in the first session. I just felt that that was just one of those type of situations where the balls were winning, if you know what I mean. They were just running awkward for him.
45.
The second session, I thought he lost a little bit of discipline. But when the
46.
warning sign came on, and particularly the way he went 11-9 behind, his head could have dropped. No such thing. One good positional shot here, and you can see the frame and match being over. Great response this from Ronnie.
49.
Still 91 remaining, but 4 reds, 4 colours. And he'd be well past the winning line. Great effort this from Joe Perry. Just missed a few balls that could have given him a bigger advantage at certain times in the match.
50.
And maybe coming home to roost now. He's out of position.
57.
57 points to lead. I think the red he's closest to will go to the far left corner, but he was looking for something easier than this. But nothing looks difficult at the moment for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Just looking at Joe there was an air of resignation. This red,
65.
one more colour, and Joe Perry will need 2 snookers.
$66.
Superb, absolutely superb. Short price favourite
71.
to win the tournament. People were beginning to wonder
72.
whether this was a hurdle he was not going to get over. But boy, has he produced some snooker in the last 4 frames. He's never looked like missing when he was in.
75.
And as I say, the disappointment when he went to the mid-session interval, 11-9 behind.
76.
It could have knocked his confidence. None of it. 124 in the last frame. Does he want to finish the session with another century? He doesn't look like missing at all. The match is over. Joe Perry has given it his all.
79.
But
80.
he's not in the mood for missing here, isn't Ronnie? Didn't play that great in his first match against Robin Hull.
86.
But you thought, well, he's going to improve in the second. He's struggled a bit.
87.
But now this is why he was such a short prize favourite to win the title. This is the snooker that only a genius can produce.
93. 94.
Now, come on, Ronnie, don't let everybody down. Get the century. Absolutely inch perfect.
99.
Well, that's the 26th century. Back-to-back centuries in the heat of battle. When you were really up against it, 11-9 down. It doesn't get any better than this. And Joe Perry,
108.
has to be said, the last two frames, well, the last three frames, has really done nothing wrong. But this is what can happen when you're playing against someone like Ronnie O'Sullivan. You don't have to make a mistake. He makes things happen. And they happen there, and they happen in style. And Joe will say, very well played, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Magnificent! The rocket was superb, and you can see what it meant to him. Unlucky Joe, you gave it your all, but that bit of magic from the reigning champion at the end was just too much for you. And Ronnie O'Sullivan will be mightily relieved. He's in the quarter-final. He beats Joe Perry. What a finish. 13 frames to 11.
What a finish indeed, and here he is, having won the last 4 frames to take it. Ronnie, we've just been talking about the pressure in that crucible. How much did you feel it at the end there, and how did you produce your best stuff at the death of that match? Yeah, massive amount of pressure, you know, you feel yourself shaking on shots, you know, especially when you've got a delicate shot and you're shaking and you kind of got to be positive with the shot, so you're thinking, I can't really play this shot, and you do it and it goes in, you think, oh, OK, that was all right. And there's lots of shots like that, you know. It's all right when you're right behind the ball and you can punch it in, but sometimes, you know, with the finesse shots and the nerves, it's hard. It was a brilliant match to watch, but you just struggled to get level terms with him. It was nip and tuck all the way. When you eventually got to 11 frames all, what were you thinking at that point? I was just thinking, you know, he's still got a long way to go, even though there's not a long way to go, but it's just kind of foot to the floor, just focus on each shot, each point, and just make him earn it, really. Just make Joe earn his victory. That's all I was thinking. I mean, that's a match got to stand you in good stead for the rest of the tournament, because he played well in that, didn't he? Yeah, no, he played really well. You know, he was solid, made me graph for it, and every time I got near him, he pulled away again. And so to do that all match, I know how difficult it is, because I've always been ahead most times, and when people come back to me, I pull away. You find you break them. So I felt like I could have broke, but I just thought, you know, you just got to find some resolve from somewhere. The last frame before you went to the overnight, the 16th frame, where he had a chance to go 10-6, and you'd given him chances. That must have been a big boost, actually, to only go in 9-7 as opposed to 10-6. Yeah, 9-7's, you know, you're still well involved in the game. You've got a bit to play with. I knew he still had to win 4 frames, and it's never going to be easy the last session. But even at 10-6, you know, you never feel like... Sometimes the bigger the lead, the more you can kind of talk yourself out of winning it, you know. So, you know, it's never over. I mean, 11-5, you think you're comfortable. At 10-6, there's still a game involved, you know, and it's this venue, you don't have to be the best player in the world, but if you can find some rhythm and be comfortable out there, you can beat the better players, you know, and Joe's one of them players, along with Matthew Stevens, that just feel comfortable out there, and they can make it difficult for you. I know Dr. Steve Peters was in your corner this morning. Wasn't he for the first couple of days of this match? What did he bring you today? You know, because he said, I'll come up Thursday. I said, no. I said, I'm all right. I said, you've got Liverpool, you know, because obviously Liverpool going for the Premier League. And I know, you know, how important that is for him and for the Liverpool people. You know, I've got friends from Liverpool.
and it would be so great for them if they can do it. So I'm just mindful that I don't want to take all his time up, and I said that's more important. I said I'm going to be okay, but really I made a mistake. I could have done with him here Thursday, but he said he's not going to make that mistake again. He's going to be around a bit more now, and so yeah, you know, it was a big boost for me this morning, because there was a couple of little things, you know, that I was thinking wrong, but that's normal. But I just it was just good to sound it off of him, and I felt a bit more relaxed going into today. Absolutely, I'm sure you did. Before we let you go, we want to hear from Joe Perry, obviously, because as we've said, we've been applauding him because he really stood up to Ronnie today. Let's get his thoughts on what was a fine effort.
I'm understandably gutted, you know. I'd give it everything over the 3 sessions, and I got no regrets for anything I'd done. You know, I give everything. I was fully committed to every shot I played. I still felt calm and relaxed at the end, so I've done everything I could. I just run into an absolute, you know, genius at the end. So what can you do? Someone's going to have to a superhuman effort to beat him. You know, I've played up there, you know, the high end of my game, and for 3 sessions, and it wasn't quite good enough. And you know, there's people out there capable of beating him, but boy, you've got to be at your absolute best and hope that maybe he's just a little bit off. But when he plays like that, it's hard to see anyone else, you know, winning the world title. Well, next to try is going to be either Sean Murphy or Marco Fu, because they'll be playing their last 16 match shortly. But Ronnie, you know, you've had a brilliant season already, 4 titles, and I read that you said the other day that, you know, even if you don't win the world title, it's still a great season for you. How do you feel about this campaign and going for 3 in a row? Yeah, it'd be fantastic to get 3 in a row, but obviously, you know, like I go back to 2011, I was ready to just turn it all in, and it was only because of working with Steve that he gave me that impetus, if you like, and a newfound freedom to want to play, you know. So for me to win 2, I've got 2 more than I ever thought I was going to get. So everything there is a bonus for me, even getting through that match, or even just being here playing. I feel like I'm playing with nothing to lose. You know, if my career ended tomorrow, I'd go, you know, I've got 2 more world titles than I ever thought I was going to get, you know, 2 or 3 years ago. So it's nice to be playing with that in the back of my mind, because you know, even when it's tough, you can get a bit hard on yourself, but then I have to remind myself that I'm just pleased to be here, you know, and competing and enjoying it. Joe Perry was on record as saying you've always had the game, but now you've got the head as well. Do you agree with that? Yeah, I've always had the game, but never really showed it as consistently as I probably have the last 3 years, and I think that's what Steve's really helped me with, is just finding, even when I get a setback, I'm quickly back on track, and I'm finding momentum and form, and the game's coming, not all the time, but the game, when it does come easy to me, I feel like I'm just steamrolling, and like the last 2 tournaments, I was getting in my head that I wasn't just wanting to win the finals, I wanted to win them 9-0, 9-1, and I just thought, that's good thinking like that, but it's dangerous, because when someone comes at you like Joe Perry, I was a bit like, oh, I'm not used to this, so I need a few beatings, I need a few, bring me back down to earth, because it's never going to be that easy, but the way I was playing, it's just like I was just on such a strong momentum, and you can get overconfident, and then when you go behind, it's like, well, I'm not used to this, so I need to play more tournaments, really, for that to happen. So, yeah. Well, it's your 16th at last count Crucible quarter-final that you're through to. Well done, Ronnie. It's great to see you, and thanks for coming in to chat to us today. You've had us all in palpitations this morning, I can honestly say, but it was a fantastic match. Now, Ronnie's going to be, I'm sure, having a bit of a rest and getting ready for that quarter-final, but here's what's coming up the rest of our afternoon.